Welcome back to Mini-Modelog. So this week I am talking about Shadespire and talking about what decks I've used and a little bit about the top 3 cards that have come up for different kind of archetypes. So I'll start off with how I build my decks and let you know how I do it and how I play Shadespire in general. Now I'm obviously not a tournament player. I kind of play for fun with some friends, and me and one friend in particular have played quite a few games. I've played the Reavers, I've played the Dwarves, and I've seen the Skeletons in action with Cleanse and Cleave. I've obviously seen the Stormcast in action with their things. So when I first started playing the game, I used the decks that were in the main game, in the main box, just to get a feel, and I think it's a great way of getting a feel for how the game works, how all the things work, and how all the different parts of the game work, as well as how to use the cards without it getting over complicated, because some of the cards can be misconstrued. There's been frequently asked questions about certain cards and stuff like that. So I started that way, and then I was like, well, as I was gathering the expansions, I thought, right, the first ones I'll try out will be the Reavers. I'll try a different deck with them. And I tried, the way I build decks is I basically go to the Warhammer Underworld's webpage and I go to deck builds and I try out the decks that are there. So the first one I tried was Blood for the Blood God, and that's an aggro deck, and we'll get onto archetypes later. It was an aggressive deck. Idea was to kill things to gain glory, and there was the odd hold objective card and things like that in there as well. I played this against the Cleanse and Cleave deck, which is also on the Warhammer Underworld's page, which is a skeleton deck. And I actually lost terribly. The Cleanse and Cleave deck is really good for skeletons. But then, by the same token, I used Fire and Stone with the Dwarves against Cleanse and Cleave, and the Dwarves cleaned up. So, while trialing out these different decks, I found it a quick way to build a quick deck. I found it a great way to try out the different factions without having to think, oh, I need 10... It gave me the deck. It was so much easier. And as time has gone on, more and more decks have come up on there, including Grand Clash winners. And if you search the internet, there's a couple of websites which have different decks, different things you can try out. I'm not going to talk about a certain deck in this video, which is the Cat Frame deck. I'm set to try that deck out and give an honest opinion on it in another video coming soon. But I'll let you know about that in the future. So they're the decks I've used. Now, obviously, they're different in style. You've got Blood for the Blood God, which is aggro. You've got Fire and Stone, which is, I'd say, an objective deck, but it turns into an aggro deck. Cleanse and Cleave, which is an aggro deck. Of course, you've got the main objective deck for the Stormcast, which is the one that comes in the game. And there's the objective deck for the Reavers, which comes with the game. They're both kind of balanced decks to play against each other as well, especially if you're learning how to play. So when I go through the next couple of sections, things should pop up, including the pictures for the cards I'm talking about, so you can read what they do. But for now, I'm just going to go through this little thing that I did on Facebook, which was looking at the different styles of deck. So, objective deck does what it says on the tin. Your whole point of that deck is to hold objectives to gain glory. And there's cards which go hand in hand with helping you to kind of do that. Obviously, you've got the hold objective 1 to 5, which is a must in that deck. Tactical Supremacy 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are quite helpful as well to score more glory. But for kind of ploy kind of cards, you've got Earthquake, Shifting Shards, and Confused Priorities. These kind of 3 cards, which I'm calling the top 3, are things that came up in a lot of people's top 5. So I asked for people's top 5 and whittled it down using everyone's answers to get a top 3, and that's what came out. Earthquake, Shifting Shards, and Confused Priorities. Hopefully they're popping up now, but if not, head across to my Facebook page or my Instagram, which I'll have links for down below. Then you've got aggro deck. Again, does what it says on the tin. Blood for the Blood God's quite an aggressive deck, because you build up your fighters, you give them, upgrades, they become stronger, they kill, and then you get glory for it. That's generally the kind of premise, which is why I'm saying Fire and Stone's a bit of both, because you've got hold objective cards on there, but if you boost up fuel in that, the boss of the Dwarves, he becomes super, super tough and can basically take out a whole team, which is what I did when I played the game against Skeletons. I just went around destroying everything. It was brilliant. So aggro decks, 3 that came up in aggros quite a lot was Ready for Action, My Turn, and Twist the Knife. Again, they should be popping up now. So they were the 3 again which came up timing. And there were others, including Great Strength, Great Fortitude. I've seen a lot of them. Sidestep, Time Trap. All of these cards absolutely brilliant. And then finally, defensive deck. Now the obvious one in the defensive deck is a Healing Potion. But the top 3 were Quick Thinker, My Turn, and Soul Trap. They were kind of like the top 3 for that deck type. Obviously there were other ones. People were saying, oh, well, make sure you put in Acrobatic for decks that use dodge quite a bit, so the Skaven kind of deck. Rebound, Last Chance, Army of One. Those are the kind of things that the defensive decks. Now, obviously, I see my defensive kind of factions being the original Stormcast faction, are very much a kind of defensive style, because obviously of glory cards like Bulwark, where you need all three to have not taken any damage, for example. So, you know, they're the three kind of archetypes. Now, obviously, there's the Keys deck, which has been knocking about. There's the Cataphrane deck, which I've already mentioned. But they're the kind of cards, all those cards that I've mentioned, you know, are the cards which people are using in the top tier decks and use competitively. Now, if you're not a competitive player like me, and you just want to play the game for fun, go to, like I said, go to the Warhammer Underworld's website, look up deck builds, and it allows you, like I say, it tells you exactly what factions you need, what expansions you need, it doesn't really tell you how to work the deck, which, you know, I think is a bit of a bad one. So all I'm going to do for now, because I've been playing it a lot recently, is talk about the Dwarves Fire and Stone deck. Now, I've called this an objective stroke aggressive deck, and the reason is there's a lot of cards in there that upgrade the boss for your Grimnir, and then there's a lot of cards, of course, to hold objectives. And the reason there's cards to hold objectives is because the dwarves inspire via holding objective at the end of the turn. So what you need to do is make sure you've got 3 objectives in your area to begin with. Get 3 of your fighters on those objectives at the end of turn 1. Then obviously they will inspire. And also try and score things like tactical supremacy or hold objective, whichever the objective they're holding. Once you've done that and got some glory behind you, you then upgrade for your Grimnir and just let him go. Let him fight everything, because I think I've got him up to movement 5 with 6 wounds and dealing 3 damage or something, or 4 damage even. It makes him ridiculously strong. It's a great deck, it's great fun. I mean, I played against the Cleanse and Cleave deck and it just mullered the skeletons, but then vice versa, the skeletons killed my Reavers when I play them. Like I say, I play for fun. I love the game. I still think the game's great. I'm really hoping Games Workshop do another box set of it soon, so sort of the second coming, because obviously Warhammer Underworlds is the name of the game, Shadespire is the setting, so I'm really looking forward to that next setting and what new mechanics that might bring and what new factions will be coming in the future. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to let me know of anything that you think, whack it down in the comments. Don't forget to check out Facebook and Instagram and all the other social media buttons on the top of the channel picture, and I'll see you next time.